everybody, and welcome to another episode of our Teens podcast, Almost Adulting. For all those who've been journeying with us and who've been watching our episodes, we're here to bring out relevant information, bring out godly content out to tell you all that this is the kind of information that you want to hear, that you want to receive, and you want to base your belief systems and perspectives on. So thank you again for joining us, and we're here today with another very special episode and with another very, very special and important person. And I'm so excited for this topic that we are going to be talking about. And we have our very own, the most amazing Thomas with us. And Thomas, it's such a joy. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for taking time out to just come together, sit together, and just talk about information that is needed for this generation.
Thank you for the opportunity, Pastor.
It's a joy. So, Thomas, before we begin, is there anything you want to tell your friends, tell people who are watching this, what can they expect out of this episode of our podcast?
No, I just feel that at the end of this podcast, at the end of this series, I hope that all the teens of the generation would be able to see God based on how we see God.
Wow.
That there would be one vision and one goal.
Yeah.
That we all would grow up to be mighty giants.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I think you've put it so beautifully when you say that. I think the whole heart of why we want to bring this kind of content out is that we are able to talk about real things. We're able to talk about real situations and know that, you don't have to make mistakes, or you don't have to try to find that information outside in the world. That we as a church, we as community want you all to know that there is a space where you all can, talk and have these conversations. Yeah. So just introducing I don't think we'll be able to do justice to the entire topic we want to do today, but I think we just want to at least get the conversation rolling. We want to start talking about this and bring it out and we want to really touch on the topic today, and we want to talk a lot about, we've been talking about identity, we've been talking about friendship circles, we've been talking about what it's like to actually have a relationship with the Holy Spirit. And today, one of the topics I feel is of so much importance is bringing up the word, bringing up what peer pressure, what addictions do to us, and talking about what it looks like. What do we define it as? What does the next generation look at it as? And we just want to bring all of that together and really shed some crucial light on this topic. So just to get things started, Thomas, let me just ask you, what would you define an addiction to be like? Or, just from what you've heard, just from what you've experienced, or from people, what do you think it is?
I feel in this generation, addiction has been there for such a long time. It all, smoking, drinking, all of that is there.
Yeah.
At this day and age, now it's social media, gamings, all of that. So I believe when you're hooked on to something, everything is there around us, but once you're hooked on to something, you're desperate for that, you can't let go of that.
Yeah.
That's when I would call it an addiction.
Okay.
Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, you do everything fast just to get to that.
Yeah.
To do what you want.
Yeah.
And it's bad for you, but still you can't manage without it. So that's what I would call an addiction.
Addiction, yeah. Very well said when we say that it's something that it can be enjoyable. It can be something that is actually can be good. But when you cannot do without it, or it becomes something that becomes a crutch that you hold on to get through your days and get through your each and every hour. I want to just highlight a whole difference here. I think the previous generation spoke a lot about, just looking at it from a point of view of very, socially things that were, this is considered to be an addiction. So that would look like drugs, that would look like, smoking, that would look like watching porn, that would look like, hustling and constantly being in a culture where you're constantly working. Not that those things are not there, or it's not that it's not prevalent right now. I think there's a lot more that's happening in your generation where addictions might look very, very different. and it looks very socially acceptable. I feel that it doesn't, that people don't look at it anymore and be like, oh, okay, this is an addiction. It's exactly like you said, it's normalized. So what are some things that you feel have been those kind of things right now?
One of the main things I feel is social media.
Okay.
Now with everything like scrolling on Reels, YouTube Shorts,
Yeah.
we say 5 minutes and then next look at the time, 1 hour has gone by.
Yeah.
Then the next day we come back to it. We know that 5 minutes is not, but we still do it. One of the main things I think is social media.
Okay.
Even chatting to people. The social pressure so much is there that you can't go without chatting to someone each minute.
Yeah.
You can't get off your phone. One other thing is gaming also.
Yeah.
I feel now it started small, but now it's a huge thing. Addicted to gaming.
Yeah.
That influences your mind a lot.
A lot, yeah. And I think something that does happen a lot is it's easy for us to look at someone else and be like, oh, that person is addicted, and we feel like, oh, we are in the safe zone, and we don't even think that there's actually something going wrong. Gaming, like you said, I think especially for I might be wrong. I think there's a whole thing when we're bringing out different genders have different ways. So how men deal with it is very different, how women deal with it. So I'm sure that even in your generation, it looks a lot different how it is. Can you go a little bit into gaming? What is it like? Why is it so addicting? What is it? Is it the visuals? Is it the dopamine, that rush of like, oh, you have that whole, okay, I'm getting something done. What does it feel like when you're on it?
So the first thing, like my experience when I first got a phone, the first thing, I was very interested in games before this, more than movies or anything. I was in the visuals, everything.
Yeah.
So once I got into those visuals, I started getting almost addicted, not fully. I would wait to go home after school, just play.
Yeah.
And it's not like my friends or anything put me in that spot to be that addicted, but it was my mistake that I made. So I feel that especially online gaming, one should be very careful about that. Once you're addicted to that, it's very hard to get out to the people you chat with. Like I've seen 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds sharing private information online on gaming platforms, and they won't get off it once. Like nowadays, no one listens much to their parents. So addiction to gaming is a huge thing because chatting to people you don't even know their name or age. So the information you get from that is may not be for your age. So I feel that's how bad addiction to gaming can be.
It can go that way. I know that we've heard extremes of people talking about how it even certain games, how it goes into suicide and it goes into those kind of things, and the main highlight, I think one of the things we really want to keep talking about is it's not just waiting for it to go to that extreme or that a game has to be that bad. It can just be the influence of what is being done in that game. Especially with gaming, I feel like it's more of trying to remove you from your reality of what's happening in your real life situation and giving you some sort of pleasure of it being in a alternate world, or and that kind of just helps. Sometimes gaming was mainly meant to just be a relaxation, but now I cannot do without it, and it's actually controlling the way I think, the way I feel, the way I eat, the way I sleep, and all of those things. When it does, that's when I know. And that is anything for that matter. It doesn't just have to be gaming. It can be like you said, scrolling on social media. It can just be the fact of wanting to be constantly validated for some. So the kind of content that gets put out. It can even be shopping. It can be the food that you eat. I remember I was talking to one of my colleagues, and we were just talking about how the culture has made it's so hustle and so instant that even we're not ready to wait for anything. Everything, like and if you're in a metropolitan city like Bangalore, like you get everything, and like we have things that give it to us in 10 minutes. We've got things that come in 5 minutes. You don't have to step out of your comfort zone anymore. And is that good? Yes, definitely it is. But what it's doing on the other end is it's taking away autonomy of how we can be as people. And and there's definitely a lot of roots of why addictions do come in. It doesn't have to be the big stuff. Yes, are those things? Yes, it is. But even the small things, I personally believe, and I've seen this happen a lot, where addictions are not necessarily the problem. It's just something that we are seeing on the visible side. There's something a lot more happening on the inside. And there are a lot of roots to why addictions come into, picture and things like that. But what are some things that you've noticed why people want to, get pulled into that, or how people get pulled into any sort of addictions for that matter?
Other than like your friends doing it, so I would do it, but then you like it so much that you do it. One of the main things these teenagers go through is depression.
Okay.
So usually I guess they feel a void in their heart, so they want to replace it with something else, and they don't feel their parents could help them, elders couldn't help them, so they go into stuff like this, like porn, gaming, social media. They feel that this temporary satisfaction, it fills them so much, and they feel good for a while, but then later that the void increases inside of them, so they go to it some more, so this just increases and increases until to a stage where they become socially excluded from life, and they won't listen to what anyone else says. So what they feel helps them. Now they think everything is right, so now they won't listen to anyone. They reach a stage where it's impossible to guide them also out of the addiction. So I feel depression, not having anyone to talk to, not having anyone to express your emotions to. I feel pressure on teenagers these days. That's one of the main things that lead to addictions.
Wow. I think it's so true what you said, where definitely, see, we all just put it under the box of peer pressure, but it's not always just peer pressure. There's so much of loneliness, there's so much of rejection, and it might look very simple, from the outside, and especially when you hear statements from elders and, feel like, oh, we've had it more difficult than you, what don't you have, and, things like that. But it's not about that. There's something that, we as individuals might have, and every single individual, does go through something in life, and that does lead to a place where you're trying to fill a void, you're trying to fill a space where, okay, I need to feel loved, I need to feel validated, I need someone to appreciate me, I need to feel good about who I am as a person. And there's a huge difference between, I feel, the previous generations was more about, okay, even though I'm struggling with something, I will find ways of, like overworking myself to prove that I'm worth it, and now it's all about, okay, if I'm not on my phone, if I don't know what is happening, and I'm not up to, there's this whole fear of I'm going to be missing out, the FOMO, you've got all of that, and that just kind of eats at you where you're not able to. And the sad part of it is, I feel culture on its own, and especially the era that we are in, and the kind of information we are receiving, that it is so normal that even these things have just become so socially acceptable. Like, you don't see anybody who doesn't have their phone. You don't see anybody who doesn't, like, search for their phone first thing in the morning. Like, people will look at you and be like, oh, you don't look at your phone, or you don't, your phone literally comes with you everywhere that you go. And what it's doing, it's constantly feeding you, it's constantly giving you information. And the moment that you're not receiving that, it just puts you into, again, we're just touching surface level of different kinds of things, but there's so much to it. So, like, the whole fact of, like, if I am not up to the mark, like, nobody will even call you, or nobody will even message you, but I need to constantly be on my phone, because what if I miss out on something? Peer pressure is just like it's a whole part of it. Sometimes it's not even saying no, you won't do it. Sometimes it's the whole fact of just being, I'm going to be silent about it, or I won't say that you're doing something wrong. What is that like for you guys in terms of when you're with your friends, when you're with, classmates, when you're talking about stuff and you know that your friends might be, doing something that's not right? How does that look like? Or when you try to have conversations, or when you try to bring up your struggles to anybody else?
Yeah, I feel that everyone has their own feeling of what's right and what's wrong.
Okay.
So at this stage, I feel like everyone tries to prove their point more than listening to the other people's point.
Yeah.
So at this stage, telling other people your struggles, how you managed it,
Yeah.
and how what they're doing is wrong, that's kind of impossible, like I would say, because like I go to a boys' college.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like vaping, gaming in class, during class, and then some of them do watch porn.
Yeah.
So telling them not to do it is that's not going to work. They're just going to ignore that.
Yeah.
I feel that giving them your experiences,
Yeah. Yeah.
telling them how you've been through it, how it's badly affected you, how it changes the person inside you, your future.
Yeah.
Many of them don't think about their future. All they want is right now what they're happy with. Temporary satisfaction. So most of them don't think about the future side of it, how it affects them. So I feel like bringing that to them changes a lot, because I have talked to one or two friends regarding this, and that's brought in a whole new perspective towards them.
Yeah.
Some of them did change also, and they did thank me for that also.
Wow.
So I feel like bringing the future perspective, your struggles, relating their problems with your own, not just preaching to them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
That goes a long way. I think one of the things that makes a stark difference is that I feel people are waiting to hear that, hey, we're not alone in this.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're not just going through life, and it's so much that, and I personally feel this, and I see this on a daily basis, where the enemy has used, especially your social media, especially the culture around you, to desensitize what these addictions look like. You take your movies, for example. You take don't even take it to movies, like take it to the cartoons that kids watch. You take it to the content that shows up on your social media feeds, and all of that. It just normalizes addictions. It just normalizes all of that. Hey, this is cool. If you're not doing this, that means there's something wrong with you, and stuff like that. There's so much of that where, so even out of just mere curiosity, it can lead to so much more bigger problems, and this does happen for a lot of people. And like we mentioned, it's coming back to like filling that void. And anytime, even if they try to reach out, or they feel that okay, this is difficult, it kind of gets shut down by being preached at, or someone telling them no, or making them feel guilty about it, kind of a thing. And this keeps going on. How does that, especially with this thing, like how you said that they're looking for authenticity, they're looking for vulnerability. What stops people, like even though they know that they're going through something, what stops them from coming and asking for help, or coming and saying that, hey, I can't do this? What is that like?
Yeah, I feel that teenagers these days, they want to be treated like adults.
Yeah.
So they want that respect also, and they feel that exposing these weaknesses, addictions, like talking to others about it, feel like they would be looked down upon, because many a time they go to the wrong people and they tell them the stuff. They tell them what problems they're going through, and it doesn't go well for them.
Yeah.
They end up feeling more depressed and thus more addicted and all.
Yeah.
So thus they don't share it to anyone. They keep it to themselves, thinking eventually it'll just go.
Yeah.
Which does not happen.
Yeah.
So I have the feeling of being looked down upon, of not being respected after people knowing your weaknesses still. I feel that's one of the main things why they don't share.
And I think somewhere at the beginning of the conversation, so what it does is it just kind of isolates you.
Yeah, it isolates
and
you.
Different people have different ways of dealing with isolation, and the more and more it isolates you, I feel like it just builds you into this place of, okay, it affects your self-worth. It affects the way that you look at, like how you mentioned, you look at your future, you look at yourself, you look at the people around you. I think one of the things that, as much as people talk and normalize about porn and all of these things is that it doesn't just affect it. Does it affect your body? Yes, absolutely it does, but it affects your mind so much that you're not able to view or look at another person and see them as a person anymore, because it's rewired your brain so much. And that's what all of this is kind of feeding it. And I know that these are things that have been happening for years together, but I feel in this generation it's so rampant because of the kind of content that is being put out over there. And anytime vulnerability is shown, it makes them feel like they're weak. It makes people feel like, and that's a very common factor. It makes them feel like, okay, I'm never going to be treated right. I have to prove to others that I'm strong, or I have it all together. I want to bring this a little bit into how I've seen a lot of people, and I myself, going through these years where we're so scared, especially in a church setting, to come and talk about these things, or to come and tell someone that, hey, I'm finding this hard. Why do you feel, again, I know we did talk about it being looked down upon, but what else do you feel are some reasons that it happens where we're like, okay, I don't want to, as a Christian, I don't want to talk about my struggles. Where do you see that coming from?
Usually the places where I've been to is you tell the problems and you get scolded like badly.
Okay.
So one thing is punishments. So obviously every child, every teenager, they're scared of punishments.
Yeah.
So telling people about your problems, the things you're going through, they're scared of punishments. What's going to happen after that?
Yeah.
How are people going to treat you after that?
Yeah.
Usually you only share things to the people you love, obviously.
Yeah.
So how do the only people you love, how would they treat you after that?
Yeah.
So will I lose the only people who love me?
Wow.
So that's main reason why they don't share. So they don't have the whole idea that they're there to help you. That the people who are there to love you, they're also there to help you grow.
Yeah.
So usually it's so much focused on having a relationship that they forget on building each other up, on sharing what's most important, their growth. So being like losing your connections in church especially, like most people have a lot of friends, teenagers have in church, so losing that, losing the mentors that you have because of your weaknesses. So I feel that's the reason they don't.
And I think there's this whole fight of if you love God, you're not supposed to struggle. Or if you have faith, you're not supposed to. And there's a lot of places where people might just throw scripture at you and be like, no, you're better than this. Like, how can you call yourself a Christian and say that you love God and, keep doing this? And again, that's not giving a license to go do whatever you want to do, but as human beings, everybody has a journey where they might have different struggles of their own, and not having that space does affect people. And I think that's what the enemy always does, because God created us for communion. God, even his picture perfect plan was us being in communion with him in that garden, being, and there's so much. Was there a lot of work? Yes, but the enemy is always behind breaking that communion, breaking that community, breaking that, making you so isolated that you necessarily will not want to connect, and you'll run away from God. You'll run away from the people that are supposed to help you. And yes, are there, and so many people have gotten hurt, and that is a sad space. And so you're scared to trust. You're scared to believe that I can have a place where I can talk to and have a space out. But it does matter a lot when when we talk about these things. I think for a long time the previous generations were, okay, let's brush it under the carpet. I think for you guys it's like, no, we want to talk about it, but we can't, and we want to have like real vulnerable conversations where we're not being looked down upon, where we are seen more than that. Again, I think it does derive back into a lot of our identity of, this is just a fruit of something that I'm not okay with. It doesn't make me who I am. It does play a huge role in understanding that, and not you are not your addiction, I think, or that's something that I keep, like, it's just something that has happened to you, or something that you are going through, you're struggling with, but that does not make you, because God has made you with so much more of a purpose, and so much more of a potential of what you can actually do. Just on those lines, I think, what happens when you bring these kind of conversations up, especially in schools, especially in colleges? What happens when you try to have a conversation? It can be about your own struggle. It can be about you seeing somebody else struggle. What's the general outlook like, or how do people look at that when you talk?
When sharing with your friends, I feel that it's all just a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. It's they all just end up laughing.
Okay.
And then usually when sharing with your parents, obviously they're willing to help in their ways, but then that's not accepted by the teenager. Because now in this society we live in, they expect everything different. Sharing with the teachers is not an option for us.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now the only people left are actually your parents and your the church people, the mentors. So those are the only people they are willing to share. But like I said before, they are not they're scared of being looked down upon and thing. But usually sharing with friends, I feel sharing with the right friends. Personally, I have had many wrong friends in the past. Share a lot of stuff that is not meant to be shared, and my life went the other way. But now I believe that I have the right friends. Sharing with them has helped me grow so much in growing out of addictions, growing out of my weaknesses also. It's not that I've completely grown out of it, like I've mastered myself or anything, just that it helps me to grow more.
Absolutely.
So I believe having the right friends is one way of growing out of these addictions. One other thing is finding good mentors and guides. Guides who would help you to grow out of this. I'm pretty sure everyone has experienced the same way of experience, but then dealing with it is different for different age groups.
Absolutely.
So finding the right mentors is also very important, I feel. But I don't feel like sharing with everybody is right. Sharing with the right people. Because sharing with the wrong people can turn your life another way around.
Oh, definitely. I think it's got a lot to do with removing out that fear or that guilt that, like we mentioned before, of what we're going to be looked at. Who am I without this? Like, are they going to see me as the same old person, or are they going to only view me from, oh, I'm a person who's struggling with this? And like you mentioned, I think friendships play a huge role in the way you view life and the way that you do life, especially in your teenage years. I feel like friendships like dictate what you do most of the time. And it's a very normal phase where kids find it difficult to relate to parents find it difficult to relate to kids, and you've got all of that going on. But if you have like those right connections and you have the right places where it's pointing you back to, hey, we love you, we're here for you, but I'm still going to call you out when something's going wrong and I need you to, and having that, it really matters a lot when you're dealing with these kind of things, and not overlooking the small things. Not not looking at it and being like, okay, I can deal with this. I've dealt with things in the past, but having that space, it really matters a lot, because God views you more than that. And having the right people who are able to speak that life over you and tell you, hey, again, is this giving me, okay, just because I have people, I'm going to go do whatever I want to do? It's not that. It's just creating a community where you're able to have that authentic relationship, be vulnerable, and still find help. And no matter how many times I'm struggling, I know that I can go back and actually find, because that is the freedom that Jesus came for us to actually experience it. But we don't necessarily live that out, because we're always in this place of the fear of what are people going to think, what is going to happen, and we stay in that kind of a cycle. And it's very important for us as a community, not just as a church, but also as friends, as I think one very important thing is, if I remove the fear element of what will people think of me, and if I know that I'm able to help someone out, I might not necessarily stay quiet, but I'm still going to wait for a time when they want to come and they want to share it with me and be like, okay, can you please help me out? Because otherwise it's just going to be things that are just going to go over their head. But if you're genuinely looking for that space of from the inside out, you want to get over that feeling of loneliness, you want to get over that feeling of whatever has been causing that, and you've been trying to cover that up with any sort of it, whether it's your scrolling, whether it's constantly being in a thing of trying to fit in, your peer pressure, your place of buying stuff. It can be porn, it can be smoking, it can be vaping, whatever it is. You're trying to heal something, or you're trying to fill a void of something that actually needs to be healed. And the only person that can heal it is bringing it to the Lord and bringing it to Jesus. And when we do that, I think the place where we get it wrong is we say, okay, I've prayed, so now this is supposed to go away. So the next time when you're struggling with it, but we've not dealt with the root of the issue. Right? It's like me telling, okay, I've taken out the apple, and I'm expecting oranges to grow out of the apple tree, but I'm just removing the apple instead of actually, changing the whole entire tree by itself. So just to ask you, what do you feel like? I know you did mention having right friends, having the right mentors, but what are some practical things that you have felt that really do help you, that do help other people, while you're trying to actually just come out of depending on something for too much?
Yeah. For me, I used to love watching action movies, violent movies.
Okay.
To a point where I would wait to go home, just watch, grab the remote, and sit and watch. But then I realized that I'm actually wasting my time on this, and it's not helping me grow. It was kind of an addiction, watching all these movies, whether it be gaming or what. So what I practically did is I took a break from it.
Okay.
It may be hard, it may be easy saying it, but it's, if you actually think about it, it's all it requires for you to do is either uninstall the app, or just keep the TV off. So what I actually did is I challenged myself. What would I become if I would last without this?
Okay.
So I actually stopped watching movies for 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
So that actually, so I started involving myself into other stuff, like more music or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I found out by the end of those 5 months that I was much more responsive. I was much more better than I used to be. I had less temper issues. I was not angry as much, and I realized it benefited me. So I believe practically removing the stuff away from you, whether it be social media, just uninstalling that app, or putting the phone into now there's so much screen timers
Limit,
switching that on. Now a lot of my friends, though they are not Christian and thing, they have that, and it works also.
Wow.
Setting timings on TV or anything, until you know that once you get on it, you're not going to be controlled by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I believe setting breaks is for not for just a short time, one day.
Yeah.
For at least minimum a week. That should help you get out of
So anything that is, so very simply put, they say in psychology where it takes 21 days to form a habit.
Yeah.
So if you're able to maintain that consistently, you're able to get, and that's what, see, how did an addiction come? It's come because something's been done over and over and over and over again. It's the same thing when you're trying to, it's not easy again, because your brain's wired a certain way and you're trying to change it. But I definitely love practical measures. It does include a lot of, and it's not that it's not a one shoe fits all, and just because of that everybody takes a break of social media, but trying to find what works for you with the right help, with someone. Maybe it can be connecting to someone who you know is the right voice, someone older to you, someone who's gone through it. Being accountable. It matters a lot, and having that safe space of being like, I can tell this person, I know they're not going to judge me, but I know they're going to keep me grounded, and they will expect something where I'm also taking part in this. And that will only happen if you genuinely want to kind of see that change. And that comes when you come to that place of, God, I can't do this. And it's not even the person, it's more about knowing that, God, I can't do this without you. Because your life was made for so much more. The thing that happens in all of this is it takes out the essence of your purpose. It takes out who you're actually supposed to be, what you're capable of, because you limit yourself to everything that you go through. You limit yourself to or you define yourself by those things that you're not able to do anything beyond that. And I know that we are just like, right now I know that we're just skimming the surface about this topic. It's a huge topic. Each addiction has a different root. It's not necessarily that everything just comes out of one place, but I think our hearts of just even starting this conversation is just to let people know that, hey,
you're not alone.
You're not alone. And telling them that, hey, we are ready to have these conversations. We want to sit down. We want to journey with you all. We want to tell you that these are important conversations to have, and that your life has so much more meaning and has so much more purpose. So even before we kind of wind up this whole conversation for today, is there something that you want to tell all our audiences that's viewing us? It can be someone who's just being curious, it can be someone who's actually going through it, but what's something that you want to tell them before we end today's podcast?
Like you said, that they're not alone. It is a stage that every teen goes through. Everybody does go through it. One thing, you will get help from everywhere. You will have multiple mentors. You will have multiple friends. You can get that. But I believe it's all a choice. It all depends on what you do. If you're not willing to do something from your end, obviously nothing's impossible. So other than having all this, I believe that if your choice, how you're willing to do it. Obviously we need help, but how that small part you're willing to do. It'll make a big difference.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow. Thank you so much, Thomas, for just coming on and just wanting to share this. And like we mentioned, I think one of our hearts is this, that if we are here, we are available, we are ready to have those kind of conversations. And even though there's so much information on the outside, there's self-help, there's all of that, we truly believe and we know that there is freedom that is found in Christ. And it's not just to throw scripture on you, it's not just to be like, okay, pray and walk yourself out of it. It's we are a group of people who are ready to say, hey, we will hold your hand and journey with you and say that, hey, there is freedom, there is life, there is purpose found, and that is found only in Christ, and you are made for so much more. So we just want to take this time to just tell you all that you all are loved, you all are precious, and thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to be back with more and diving more into details of these topics. And if you ever want to connect with us, please feel free to drop us a text, drop us an email, do share. You can share it out to us, and we will be more than happy to do that. So thank you all for tuning in. God bless you all.